Alright, let's get right into this. I want you to picture the scene. It's a Wednesday night NBA game in Milwaukee. On paper, maybe not the biggest game of the week, right? But what it turned into, wow. It delivered one of the most razor-thin, heart-stopping finishes you will ever see. A finish decided not by seconds, but by literal milliseconds.
And it all boils down to this single chaotic moment. The final buzzer goes off, the ball is up in the air, and it goes in. The game is tied. The crowd is going absolutely bananas. Players are celebrating, but wait, the refs are immediately waving it off. What just happened? Was that shot good, or was it just a fraction of a second too late?
And this is the brutal reality of that final play. You see the Cavaliers center, Jarrett Allen, get the basket right under the hoop. A perfect play to send this thing to overtime. But the official call on the floor is that the clock hit triple zeros just before the ball left his fingertips. The basket doesn't count. And just like that, the game is over.
So how in the world did a game missing its biggest stars turn into an absolute nail-biter? Well, to really get the drama of that final play, we've got to rewind a bit and look at who wasn't even on the court.
And this is exactly why the game was so unpredictable. I mean, look at the star power just sitting on the bench. For the Cavaliers, they were down three massive pieces: James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Mobley. And for the Bucks, their two-time MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, was out for his 13th straight game. So you see, this wasn't a game about superstars, it was all about which team had the better depth.
And you know, when the stars are out, new heroes have to emerge. For Milwaukee, it was Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins who really stepped up and led the scoring. But for Cleveland, man, Jarrett Allen was an absolute monster with 27 points and 11 boards, and their new guy, Dennis Schroeder, just poured in 26 points. These were the guys carrying their teams all night long.
So with both rosters kind of evenly matched because of all the injuries, what we got was just an absolute dogfight from the opening tip. I'm talking a classic point-for-point battle where neither team could pull away. And you know what? The scoreboard tells the entire story. Just look at this. Tied at 33 after the first quarter. The Bucks are up by a single point at halftime. And then, believe it or not, they're tied again at the end of the third. It was neck and neck the whole way. You just knew this thing was going to be decided in the final seconds. This quote right here, it just says it all. It perfectly captures Jarrett Allen's night. He was dominant. He was the reason the Cavaliers were even in a position to tie the game at the end. He did everything he possibly could, but in the end, it all came down to a cruel twist of fate and the game clock. Okay, let's break down that wild finish. We're talking the final 36 seconds. This is where the pace just explodes, the pressure is through the roof, and every single possession feels like life or death. Okay, so with just under 36 seconds left, Dennis Schroeder hits this clutch shot to tie it all up at 116 all. The crowd is electric. Milwaukee gets the ball, they come down the court, and who else but Kevin Porter Jr., the hero for the Bucks tonight, coolly sinks a jumper. Bucks take the lead 118 to 116. The Cavs have one last chance, which of course leads to that final heartbreaking play where Allen's layup is waved off. 20.2 seconds. After Porter's go-ahead shot, that's it. That's all the time Cleveland had left to find an answer. Now, that's plenty of time for a good look. But in the chaos of a final possession, every dribble, every single pass, every tenth of a second feels like an eternity. And after all of that back and forth, all that effort, this was the final definitive word. No basket, no overtime. The Milwaukee Bucks win by 2. Just a brutal, brutal way for the Cavaliers to lose. Now you might think, hey, it's an 82-game season. One loss doesn't mean that much. But in a super crowded Eastern Conference playoff race, a single game, especially one decided by a split second, can have some major consequences. And here's the immediate impact. With that one loss, the Cavaliers officially drop from third place all the way down to fourth in the East. They fall a half game behind New York. You know what that is? That's the difference between having a home court advantage and a playoff series. All because of one shot that was a hair too late. And it also brought their momentum to a screeching halt. Cleveland had been on an absolute tear, winning 8 of their last 9 games. So this loss wasn't just another mark in the L column, it was a total momentum stopper for one of the hottest teams in the entire league. So, as we wrap up this incredible story, it really leaves us with a bigger question, right? This game was completely defined by who wasn't playing. And yet, it was one of the most competitive, exciting games of the entire week.
It's just this powerful reminder that in today's NBA, with the grueling schedule and all the injuries, a team's depth isn't a luxury anymore. It's an absolute necessity. Because as this game proved, sometimes it's the players you least expect who end up making all the difference.